Federal jurors are now weighing 11 charges against Rami Saba. He's charged in the 2007 disappearance of Saranac's Donald Dietz.
24-hour News 8's Tony Tagliabia spent the day in court. He's live outside the federal courthouse with what we've learned since 5 o'clock. Tony?
Good evening, Sue. Those jurors, 7 women and 5 men, have gone home for the night. They're expected to be back tomorrow morning to resume deliberations, and we expect to be there for that. Those 11 charges that Rami Saba faces include one that carries the longest possible sentence: conspiracy to commit kidnapping. He could face up to life in prison if convicted of that. Saba's also charged with kidnapping itself, aggravated identity theft, attempted bank fraud, and bank fraud conspiracy. In his closing argument, a federal prosecutor told the jury today that Saba was a financially desperate man who found the perfect mark in Donald Dietz. The prosecution said Saba had $450,000 worth of motive. That's the amount of money Dietz had. Prosecutors say phone records help show Saba was working with alleged co-conspirator Rago Adrago. Those prosecutors say Saba bought pepper spray and a stun gun to subdue Dietz so they could take his money. And those prosecutors say Saba made a cell phone call in the area of Dietz's home right around the time of his disappearance. Saba gave his own closing argument to the jury this afternoon. He told jurors the facts are on his side. He says the prosecution's case is all about emotions and assumptions. He repeated that dozens of times. Saba says no one can prove he was in contact with Dietz around the time of the disappearance. He says evidence in Dietz's home was contaminated. He says there's DNA evidence on Dietz's bike that wasn't matched to him or anyone else. Donald Dietz's brother Marv Dietz told us after the jury took this case this afternoon that he feels the prosecution did a good job presenting its case. You might remember last week Saba was actually acquitted of 2 serious charges in this case because the federal judge in this case determined that the prosecution hadn't proved its case to the point where the jury should hear those charges. The jury is now hearing and considering those remaining charges. Live outside the federal courthouse in downtown Grand Rapids, Tony Tagliabia, 24-hour News 8.